Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank.
I actually worked at Universal Studios as the lighting designer for many years in Hollywood there. Really liked that job. But anyways, I started my first company, Radiance, when I was about 22 years old, grew it into what it is today. It's 25 years old now, and we're one of the top lighting design agencies in the country. We do lighting for Universal Studios and Mattel Toys and Fox, and we light a lot of the really exciting attractions like the Harry Potter castle at Universal Studios.
If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you've heard me talking about the Inventors Bootcamp, right? Over the last 3 years, hundreds of inventors have joined us in the Inventors Bootcamp, and we have lots of exciting success stories from our students. But guess what? The bootcamp is not for everyone. If you like to tinker with invention ideas occasionally on weekends, hoping that someday someone will buy your idea, the Inventors Bootcamp is not for you. If you think it's your job to just come up with ideas and someone else can take care of the rest, prototypes, packaging, and contacting companies, the Inventors Bootcamp is not for you. But if inventing really matters to you, if you know deep in your heart that you've got an invention ripe for success, if you're willing to learn and do whatever it takes to be successful, I'm here to help you, and the Inventors Bootcamp is your ticket, your next logical step forward. So, what is it? When is it? And how do you sign up? The Inventors Bootcamp is 5 days of live interactive Zoom meetings, Monday, July 8th through Friday, July 12th, for 1 hour each night. Teaches you precisely how to create a clear, concise marketing message, which is exactly what companies want to hear. When you join us, you'll meet other inventors, plus you get a licensing masterclass, and lots more. The next Inventors Bootcamp starts very soon, Monday, July 8th. Enrollment is open now. Just go to www.alanbeckley.com/bootcamp. Many podcast listeners, just like you, have joined the Inventors Bootcamp. Here are just a few of our success stories. Duncan Ashworth has 2 companies interested in licensing his COVID-killing floor sanitizing invention. Daryl Carter secured a business partner and licensing arrangement. His asthma relief product debuts this fall. And Julietta Hughes tested her portrait artist invention. Now she's got a clear strategy for reaching out to companies to license it. Ready to add your success story to our list? The bootcamp is your ticket. Register now at www.alanbeckley.com/bootcamp to save your seat at the July bootcamp. Want a special free early bird bonus incentive? Register by Sunday, June 30th, and you'll get your copy of my 6+4 Fast Start for Inventors template, absolutely free. This template provides you with 6 steps you must take to create a firm foundation for your invention, plus 4 expensive gas you absolutely must avoid. To get your 6+4 Fast Start template absolutely free, make sure to register for bootcamp by Sunday, June 30th. Again, just register at www.alanbeckley.com/bootcamp, and we'll see you in the July bootcamp. Welcome to episode number 418. Today is a rebroadcast of one of our classic favorites, episode number 378 from February 5th of 2024 with successful inventor Clay Alexander. Clay hated how quickly his coffee cooled off, So he invented a high-tech coffee mug that heats it to a selected temperature and keeps it warm. I think you're going to enjoy this episode as much as I did. Clay Alexander grew up in Idlewild, California, riding bikes and hiking in the mountains. He went to Idlewild Arts Academy and then California Arts in Los Angeles. He pursued an entrepreneurial and inventive path, working as a lighting designer at Universal Studios. Then he founded his first lighting design company, Radiance, at the age of 23. Today, the company is a top lighting design company that does lighting for Universal Studios, Mattel Toys, Fox, and others. In 2016, Clay, who holds over 200 patents, launched Ember, the design-led temperature control brand whose patented technology is revolutionizing the way people eat, drink, and live. Most known for their fan-favorite product, the Ember Mug 2, the brand has since expanded to include other temperature-controlled drinkware items, a baby bottle system which warms milk or formula to the perfect temperature with the touch of a button, and the Ember Cube, the world's first self-refrigerated, cloud-based shipping box. The Ember Cube was designed to significantly reduce shipping waste created by temperature-sensitive pharmaceuticals. Ember products are lauded by consumers and critics alike, with its products earning prestigious industry awards, including Time's Best Inventions 2023, Inc.'s 5,000 Fastest Growing Companies, and more. You'll want to listen to this entire interview, where Clay shares how Ember was able to launch the world's first temperature-controlled coffee mug, Ember, with Starbucks, that sold out across the country in only 7 days. Also, how he developed the world's first temperature-controlled baby bottle that takes the bottle from the refrigerator to the perfect temperature for baby of 98.5 degrees in less than 5 minutes. And finally, how Clay and his team chose to develop the Ember brand to be a premium aspirational branded product that today has sold millions of units. Now let's get right to our interview with Clay Alexander. Clay Alexander, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast with us today.
Oh, thank you, Alan. I am absolutely delighted to be here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Clay, I'd like to start by asking, can you share a bit of your background with our listeners? Where did you grow up and go to school, and what did you do before you became an inventor? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack there. Yes, I would enjoy telling you a little bit more about my background. So, I actually grew up in the mountains in Idlewild, California. I'm a big nature lover. We used to go on hikes and mountain bike rides and this and that. So, I often nowadays get my inspiration from nature. But yeah, I went to Idlewild Arts Academy, amazing school. Then from there, I went to Cal Arts in the LA area up in Valencia. I actually worked at Universal Studios as the lighting designer for many years in Hollywood there. Really liked that job. But anyways, I started my first company, Radiance, when I was about 22 years old, grew it into what it is today. It's 25 years old now, and we're one of the top lighting design agencies in the country. We do lighting for Universal Studios and Mattel Toys and Fox, and we light a lot of the really exciting attractions, like the Harry Potter castle at Universal Studios. And so that business I started and I grew it over the years. And then I started another company called Journey Lighting, and I invented the world's first LED track light and built that into a really nice, reputable brand within the LED lighting industry and sold that business to EcoSense in 2014. And then from there, actually, as part of that journey, Alan, I ended up inventing the world's brightest LED light bulb. We were doing about 5,000 lumens of white light out of an LED light bulb back in the day when to get 100 lumens out was like a big deal, right? And it was a twist lock LED light bulb. Basically, I had figured out a way to form a thermal coupling between the LED and the light fixtures so that when you twist the light bulb into its socket, we're able to dump the waste heat from the LED into the light fixture, and therefore the LED runs cooler, and therefore the LED runs longer and brighter. And so we were able to create this incredible light bulb and ended up selling it to GE in 2009. I did a 20-year royalty bearing license with GE. And then from there is Ember, right? Today, Ember, world's first temperature controlled coffee mug. We launched that with Starbucks in 2016. That was a big launch for us. We sold out all across the country within 7 days. It was a huge success. And from there, Starbucks came back and said, "What do you have next?" And we pitched what we call our ceramic mug, the Ember ceramic mug. And we launched that in 2017 with Starbucks, and we sold 110,000 units in the first 6 weeks. So big success out of the gate. I call it drafting. We were able to leverage the Starbucks brand to help attract huge PR. So we were in all the headlines, right? So Starbucks and Ember launched the world's first smart cup. It was amazing, a very exciting time for the company. But from there, Ember's been on the market for about 5 years now. We are one of the fastest growing companies in America for 3 years in a row on the Inc. 5000 list. We're in over 27 countries today and in over 5,000 retail locations. So we're in every Target store, every Best Buy store. We're in Williams-Sonoma. We're in Costco. We're in Apple stores. So big success over the years. And then from there, ended up creating a life sciences division of Ember. And we're actually looking at ways to apply our temperature control technology to help save lives and enter the healthcare industry and move temperature sensitive and life-saving medicines around. So that's real high level. That's the long answer to your question, but I wanted to give you an overarching story there for you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you've had a very diverse background, and I'm not going to hit on all the points you make, but just to highlight for our listeners a few of the key points. Clearly, you had an arts background, going to Arts Academy and then California Arts, and then actually getting into lighting and doing lighting for Universal Studio, and then creating Radiance, your own lighting company at age 23, and moving on to Journey. And also, I found it fascinating, the world's brightest LED light. Complaint people had about LEDs is, well, they're not so bright. I want a light that's more bright and natural looking, but a
Yeah.
1,000 lumens is a pretty bright light. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty amazing background. And what I would like to do is transition and speak a bit more here now about Ember and talking a little bit about it so our listeners can get a sense of it. But specifically focusing on your travel mugs for coffee, how is the
Mm.
coffee kept warm for the drinker? And can the temperature be adjusted to suit the person? Some like their coffee hotter than others. And does it require electricity, or can it be just recharged? Can you give us a visual description so our listeners get a sense of what the travel mug is like?
Yeah, great. Thanks for that question. So the travel mug is Ember's very first product. That's the product we launched with Starbucks. It is the world's first temperature controlled coffee mug. What makes it magical is that you can set the temperature, the drinking temperature of your coffee or tea right on the mug. So there is what we call a hidden till lit display. So if you walk up to an Ember travel mug, it just looks like a beautifully designed object, right? A beautiful thermos, if you will. And yet, if you tap the Ember logo with your thumb or your finger, there is a magical screen that lights up. And you can use a plus or the minus symbol on the screen, and you can raise your drinking temperature or lower your drinking temperature right there on the fly. And the idea is that you can dial in the drinking temperature that's right for you. And every human, what we've discovered, has a different drinking temperature preference, right? Mine is 135 degrees. And now if I drink coffee or tea above or below that, I get annoyed by it because I've had Ember mugs for even before we launched. So coming up on 7 or 8 years now, and I've been enjoying my coffee or tea at that 135-degree temperature. So that's what makes it different from a thermos or a Zojirushi or Contigo is we're not trying to hold the temperature that you pour in at. We're trying to actually hold a specific temperature that you would like to enjoy your coffee or tea. And you don't know right off the bat what your drinking temperature is. So you can play around with it, right? And adjust it up and adjust it down. So I hope is that a good enough kind of description of the product?
It's actually a very good description. And I especially like the way you described that at first it just looks like a beautiful coffee mug. But
Mhm.
then when you tap on the logo, a screen appears. And I like this high tech connection there and that there's a plus or minus. So that's pretty intuitive and obvious. If you want it warmer, you push on the plus. If you want it cooler, you push on the minus. And I presume it would then show you whatever that temperature is so you can know for future reference. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. On the screen, it tells you the temperature that you're plussing up to or minusing down to, and then it locks that temperature in. And the cool thing about it is that it memorizes it. So once you program the temperature you like, every time you pour a cup of coffee, the Ember mug is going to automatically take that cup of coffee to the exact temperature that you set in the previous use.
The other question as a clarification I wanted is, does it use batteries or how does it function where it heats up things? Does it have to be charged up
Yeah,
periodically?
that's part of the magic of it is back in the day before Ember, there was these kinda like hot plates that you could set your mug on and keep your coffee warm. You couldn't set the temperature, but you keep it warm and you'd go and walk away to a meeting, and then, of course, the coffee would get cold. So my invention or idea was, gosh, what if we put an energy source, i.e. batteries, inside the mug itself and use the energy source to power a built-in heating system. And so the Ember mug has a very sophisticated multi-temperature sensor system where we've got temp sensors running all up and down the sidewall and the base. We have a digital TI temperature sensor at the bottom, which has a plus or minus less than 1 degree accuracy. And one of the things that we figured out with Ember back in the day when I was experimenting in the lab and trying to figure out how to warm liquid in a mobile battery powered device is there's a issue where heat rises inside the liquid. And so if you just heat liquid in a vessel and you measure the top of the liquid and then you measure all the way down to the bottom of the liquid, the bottom of the cup, there can be up to a 20-degree spread of temperature, a delta between the bottom and the top, right? And I knew that wasn't going to work if we were making precision temperature controlled drinking products. So we invented basically this idea of inducing a convection current inside the liquid. So the way in which we control the heaters and place the heaters inside the mug, we're actually inducing a circular current. I was inspired by the Gulf Stream in the way the ocean flows in that part of the world, and it moves around based on pockets of warmth and cold energy. And so that's how we did that. We actually applied the same technology, Alan, to our baby bottle, the world's first self-warming baby bottle, which is out now as well, where we're able to induce a convection current inside the milk or formula so that we can essentially have a uniform drinking temperature from the top to the bottom.
That's very helpful, and that makes it much more clear, and I especially like that you described, and if you think about it logically, it makes so much sense that heat's gonna rise, so there naturally be warmer at the top and cooler at the bottom unless you do something to change that.
Mm.
But for the optimal experience, you would want it to be consistent from top to bottom, and that your invection current allows that to be the case, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. I think you described it as the magic of it, which I do like that thought process. And then I guess the batteries can either be replaced or is it recharged from time to time, or does that
Yeah,
work?
the batteries are built in. We had a big discussion in the early days, right? Do we make a puck that kind of like attaches to the bottom of the mug that you can recharge and put on and off the mug? Or do we embed the battery inside the mug, kind of permanently and watertight seal it? We went with the latter because at the time, this is like 2012, we were making these kind of decisions. If you recall, Android devices used to have the battery be removable on the back, and Apple was like, "No, we're just gonna put the battery in the phone and make it permanent." And there was that whole kind of battle between the 2 approaches. And as the build the battery in approach is what won in the end. And we were tracking that battle and trying to see where it was gonna land because we needed some input from the consumer market on that, and we ended up embedding permanently the battery into the cup. And what's great about that, though, is that we were able to design the cup to be IP67, which is submersible to 1 meter deep. We're able to keep all the water out, and you can dunk it in the sink, you can wash it, you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's fantastic. That makes it so clear to me. And I presume that it probably is not something you'd put in a dishwasher, but you can wash it in the sink, right?
Yeah, that's right. We recommend to just wash it in the sink. You can just wipe it down and put it on the dryer rack.
The other item you did mention that I wanted to speak to a little bit next is you also have baby bottles designed to warm milk to the optimal temperature. Compared to conventional baby bottles, what makes yours a more attractive solution to the parent, the mom or dad? Could you share that with us?
So there's a whole kind of story behind the baby bottle. My daughter, who is now 11 years old, Charlotte, she was born 2012. And at the time, we had these Ember kind of inventions that we were developing, mostly around coffee and tea. And I have a heated dinner plate as well. And my daughter was born, and my wife did most of the feedings, but every once in a while, it was dad's turn. And I remember going downstairs and putting the bottle in a bowl of hot water, having it bob around, and you're squirting milk on your wrist, and you're wondering, gosh, is this the right temperature? And you're a new parent, you've got all these anxieties, and it was just brutal if I really think back and remember it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, gosh, this is the 21st century. Like, why are we warming baby bottles in a bowl of hot water and like squirting milk on our wrists? Check, check the temperature. Why can't the bottle warm itself and warm itself to a precise temperature? And so basically, I created the world's first self warming baby bottle. And it took many years to develop, Alan, because when you're developing baby products, you've got obviously safety comes above all other aspects. And so we spent a lot of time. We actually have a triple redundancy heating system in there so that if circuit 1 fails, circuit 2 kicks in. And if circuit 2 fails, circuit 3 kicks in to turn off the heaters. So we've done a ton of work over a lot of years to get the baby bottle just perfectly designed and perfectly safe. So it'll warm the milk or formula up within less than 5 minutes from refrigeration to 98.5 degrees, which is body temperature. But part of the real value prop is we always say you don't have to be chained to the fridge, right? You can literally take the Ember baby bottle out of the fridge, you put it on the puck. It's like a battery, a magnetic battery puck that throw the baby bottle on. And then there's what we call a thermal dome, and it slides on top of the baby bottle, and all of it's magnetic and it just sucks together. And you have this device that you can carry around, and the thermal dome keeps the milk cold for up to 4 hours on the go. So you can throw it in your diaper bag or your purse or your backpack and take the baby to a park. And if the baby starts crying and needs food, you literally just would open up your iPhone or your Android and you just click warm milk from the Ember Baby app, and it'll warm it inside your diaper bag. And it pings you on your phone or your Apple Watch to let you know that it's ready and that the milk's at 98.5 degrees. So it's really, we've tried to take a lot of the work and stress out of feeding for your little infant loved ones.
That's amazing. And thanks for sharing that. I was just visualizing as you went through this, clearly a multi-year process to figure out the optimal way to do this. I would include imagining that 98.5 degrees, essentially body temperature, would be a good one. And the idea that you can go in less than 5 minutes from in the refrigerator and cold to heated to the optimal temperature. And also like the idea the dome keeps it cold. So if you're taking it somewhere and you want to keep it cool until you need it, then you just use your iPhone or app and it'll ping you when it's ready. It just seems like it's such a low hassle factor and worry factor for the parents that way.
That's right.
So that's amazing. I wanted to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here. And so when I looked at your website, Ember appears to be what you might call a premium product with
Yeah.
product prices ranging between about $150 to as much as $400. What would you say to critics who might say that's too expensive? And also, how would
Mm.
you describe the demographics of your typical buyer? Can you share that with our listeners?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we had a lot of debates in the early days as to what to set the pricing to, and when we first launched with Starbucks, Starbucks said, "Look, it's gotta be under $100," and we were able to pull that off, but at the end of the day, where we landed is Ember is a premium aspirational brand. And we've done that by design from the beginning, right? And so every choice that we've made along the way, right? The components that we select to put on the circuit board, the ceramic finish that we put on the mug, the fact that we actually coat the inside of the mug with ceramic as well. A lot of these type of cups have the metal on the inside and the paint on the outside. We do so many different things that relate to quality and touch and feel. Our batteries are tier 1 battery makers, like, every single thing about the Ember product is quality. And look, we decided to take the high road, and it paid off. It paid off. There are millions of Ember mugs out there in the world today, multiple millions. And what happens is once someone has an Ember mug and tries it out, drinks from it, they can't believe the experience and they never really go back to drinking out of regular cups again. And what happens is word of mouth. They just start talking about it, telling their friends, "Oh my gosh, you don't have an Ember mug." And so if you look at our kind of business metrics, the amount that we spend each year on marketing versus our top line revenue is below market average, the percentage of marketing to top line revenue. And that's because we've built a beautiful, well-designed product that delivers a great user experience. We really just decided to take the high road in the very early days and create a premium brand, and that means premium components and premium finishes and all that stuff. So it's very expensive for us to manufacture, which is why we set those price points.
It makes perfect sense, actually. I like that you said it's a premium aspirational brand. And more than anything, once you decide what your brand is and who it's to appeal to, then you want to make everything else go with that, line up with the materials that you need to be top quality. And I think it's a little bit similar in some regards to the approach that Apple took with the iPhone, in
Yeah.
that you provide it in a beautiful box when the product looked beautiful and the quality of materials and things used in it look much higher quality than a just run of the mill cell phone. So I do think there's a lot to be said for that. In other words, know who your market is, know what it is you're building and why you're building it, and then stick to your guns, as they say. In other words, if you're going to make a beautiful product, a very functional product that's going to be top the line, then make it top the line in every way in all the components.
Well said, Alan. And if I can riff on that a little bit, if you look at the Ember packaging, if you just watch an unboxing video online or you get an Ember mug and you unbox it, you'll be blown away at the all the attention to detail that we put into every aspect of the packaging, right? Like just the finish of the paper to the color to the trays to the just everything about it. And then we want that whole customer journey to feel that way, right? from the advertisements that we produce all the way to the beauty of our website and our marketing materials to that package that shows up at your door, right? Yeah, we try to really make sure that the process flows all the way from the time you're first exposed to it, whether it's on a billboard or in an online advertisement, all the way to the time you're drinking your first sip out of the mug. And if you look at it, there's a lot of brands that have been very successful taking the kind of high road with the aspirational approach. Look at Dyson, for instance. You go in, Target and you look at the lineup of Dyson and Shark Ninja and all the different brands, and Dyson is significantly more expensive than any of the other brands that are next to it. And yet they're still selling a ton of Dyson machines, right? In fact, I'd argue maybe even more than the others. So if you can pull it off, it's the holy grail, in my opinion.
No, that I really appreciate that information. It makes a lot of sense. Clay, as we roll towards a close, I'd like to ask, are there any parting words you'd like to leave us with?
I'd love to, if it's okay, I'd love to also talk a little bit about our temperature control technology we've developed for the healthcare industry.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so what we wanted to do was create a way that we can use the temperature control technology that we invented for the consumer space and figure out a way to save lives and enter the healthcare industry. And so, long story short, we ended up creating the world's first self-refrigerated shipping box. And we're able to move temperature sensitive and life-saving medicines around in our box. And we're able to it's called the Ember Cube. And every Ember Cube has a cellular radio on board and is in constant communication with the cloud server. So we're able to report temperature, humidity, GPS in real time as the box moves its way around the country. And we're the only cellular radio based shipping box allowed to fly on UPS planes and FedEx planes around the United States. So we're making some great progress there. We're shipping medicine directly to patients' doorsteps in partnership with some of the top healthcare companies in the world. And I just wanted to mention that as a kind of last thing because Ember is not a coffee cup company. Ember is a temperature control brand. And we're really trying to take our technology and apply it into multiple different verticals.
Thanks a lot for sharing that because that shows your mission obviously is far beyond just simply warming coffee, et cetera, but creating temperature control, which can take on a lot broader market than just that. And in this case, getting into the healthcare industry and really addressing a very important problem there as well.
Yeah, it's exciting. And Alan, it's nice to have a mission that you can wake up in the morning and get real excited about, where you know you're actually improving people's lives and helping to get medicine with temperature adherence delivered to patients' doorsteps and to be able to improve patient outcomes. And it's just a really exciting mission for us. And then you would ask a question about parting words. I've been an inventor my entire life. I have over 250 patents now, and I've created a lot of different interesting inventions and brought them to market either through licensing or through building companies around. And I would say, like, my main message to inventors would be to never give up. There was so many times when I hit hurdle after hurdle, and it literally feels like you are approaching a solid brick wall. And you cannot understand, how am I going to get around this brick wall, right? It could be running out of money, right? As you're building your business, it could be the patent didn't get approved by the patent office. There's a million things that it could be. And what I've found is if you think outside the box and think creatively, you can always figure out a way around the wall or sometimes through the wall. But I just really wanted to deliver that message because that's what has been helpful for me in my journey is just really having the grit and tenacity and just never giving up.
Thank you. I think that's a great message. Definitely not give up. And congratulations on 250 patents. And my last question would be, how can our listeners reach you if they have other questions?
Yeah, on social, on Instagram and Facebook, I'm Clay, CLAY, double underscore Alexander. So at Clay_Alexander. And I do check my comments there every once in a while. And then, or you can just look me up on LinkedIn and shoot me a note there as well.
So that just to clarify, that's at Clay _, not just one underscore, but two, Alexander.
That's right. Yep.
And that would be Facebook as well as Instagram.
That is correct.
And they can find you there. And also, can you share the website?
Yeah, the website. So we have two websites, www.ember.com, just ember.com. And that's our consumer business, which has the world's first temperature-controlled coffee mugs, the baby bottles, a whole bunch of different SKUs and colors and sizes and shapes. And then we have emberlifesciences.com, which goes into more of our cold chain technology that we're developing for the healthcare industry.
That's fantastic. And that's Ember, obviously spelled EMBER. So www.ember.com or emberlifesciences.com. Well, I want to thank you so much, Clay, for being on the podcast with us today and sharing your journey and this great products that you've been creating. And I'd like to reserve the opportunity, maybe another 6 months or a year, to touch bases with you again and find out what's going on with you at that time.
Oh, that'd be great, Alan. I would love to.
All right. Thanks a lot for being on the podcast. So you're done searching for your product and it's not out there. Yay! Maybe you filed for a provisional patent and done some marketing research or surveys. Heck, maybe you've even created a rough prototype, then found that, although it kind of works, it looks like something from the Stone Age. You'd be embarrassed to show it to your friends, much less to a manufacturer for a licensing pitch. What if I could put you in touch with a guy who offers free consultations, takes no money down, no money up front, and will give you a quote on your project before he starts? What if I told you that this same guy can help you design your product and make you a virtual prototype before you ever put a penny into building a physical one? What if I told you he could make you patent drawings, CAD files for manufacturing, and even make marketing videos and build you a website? If this sounds like someone you want to talk to, let me introduce you to my first podcast sponsor, Brian Keast at I Draw Dreams for Inventors. With 3.5 years of trade school and 15 years of mechanical experience working as a mechanic for General Motors, you have someone that's seen countless design failures and how they were fixed. Also, he had a 25-year career as a general contractor who designed his own houses and remodels on computer-aided design. In getting plans through countless building departments, he gained a tremendous amount of experience by working directly with structural engineers. The many years of combined experience in these two careers gave him a unique look into stresses and failures in design. He brings this wealth of knowledge and experience to his company, I Draw Dreams, as the CAD guy who will design a product for you that will work. Every inventor I've referred to Brian has come away delighted with the work he has done for them, and I think you will too. Just make sure to tell them that Alan sent you. As an inventor, do you ever feel lonely? Because no one seems to understand what you are doing or why. What if there was a community of other inventors just like you that you could meet, share with, and learn from every month? What if every month you had a front row seat to learn how to license, research companies, and sharpen your marketing message from successful inventors like Marcy McKenna, Lisa Lloyd, Aaron Krause, and many others? Guess what? The Inventors Helping Inventors membership group, or IHIMG, gives you all of that and more for only $35 a month. Less than a few lattes at Starbucks. Just go to alanbeckley.com/ IHI35 for all the details and to join us now. From the moment you join, you'll get instant access to over 40 recorded videos in the IHI MG Video Vault, where you'll learn how Jim DeBetta ventures products successfully in a challenging retail market, about Lisa Lloyd's secret research resources to determine which products to pursue and which to leave behind, how Serena Oliver was able to craft 3 successful Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns, how Bop It inventor Dan Klitzner launched over 50 successful products in the uber-challenging toy business, and more. By the way, all of those videos are just from 2022. There's lots more from 2021 and 2023 in the Video Vault for members. To join us now in the Inventors Helping Inventors membership group, just go to alanbeckley.com/IHI35. I look forward to meeting you and helping you to accelerate your journey and gain traction as an inventor. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.